Tyler Collins stared at his reflection in the bathroom mirror, his trembling fingers gripping the edge of the sink. The room seemed to spin as his heart hammered against his ribcage, each beat a violent protest. Outside his Back Bay apartment window, Boston's winter painted the world in unforgiving white, snowflakes swirling against the darkening sky, as cold and isolating as the war raging inside him. 19 years of hiding, 19 years of perfection, and now his body was betraying him. The small empty bottle lay discarded on the counter, its label promising natural reorientation therapy, a miracle cure from Mass Wellness Coalition's website. The liquid had tasted bitter, like shame distilled. Tyler had hoped it would quiet the thoughts, silence the truth he'd carried since childhood. Instead, his racing heart screamed louder than ever. His phone vibrated. Another text from his father, Robert Collins, CEO of Ascendant Technologies and Boston's most prominent conservative donor. Looking forward to the fundraiser tomorrow. Senator Adams is eager to meet my son, the future business leader. Each word felt like another stone in the wall Tyler had built around himself. Memories flooded back. The taunting whispers in high school hallways when he'd lingered too long on the swimming team captain. His father's proud clap on his shoulder when he'd taken Emma Lewis to prom. The nights spent researching how to stop being gay while his roommates slept. Tyler had orchestrated every minute of his life to be the son Robert Collins expected. Stellar grades at Boston University, business major, the right friends, the right hobbies, the right everything. Everything except who he truly was. His heartbeat thundered in his ears now, too fast, too erratic, 200 beats per minute, according to the health app on his phone. Fear gripped him as tightly as the chest pain. This wasn't normal. This wasn't just anxiety. The room tilted dangerously. With shaking hands, Tyler ordered an Uber to Massachusetts General Hospital, refusing to call his father. As the car navigated Boston's snow-dusted streets, he wondered if this was rock bottom, or just another circle of the hell he'd created by denying his truth. The bottle had promised to fix him, but what if there was nothing broken to begin with? The emergency room lights were too bright, too exposing. Like truth, they illuminated everything Tyler had tried to keep in shadow. As the world began to darken around the edges, a single thought crystallized in his mind. Sometimes the most damaging lies are the ones we tell ourselves. What would you do if your heartbeat became the loudest voice of truth you couldn't silence? Subscribe to Heart Stories for more powerful narratives of courage, identity, and the healing power of living authentically. The emergency room doors hissed open as Tyler stumbled through, the world tilting beneath his feet. Dr. Olivia Martinez glanced up from her charts, her experienced eyes immediately registering the pale face, the labored breathing, the hand clutched to chest. She moved swiftly, gesturing to Jason Thompson, the charge nurse whose calm efficiency balanced her intensity. Tachycardia, possibly 200 beats per minute, Dr. Martinez announced as they guided Tyler to a treatment bay. Her voice remained steady despite the urgency, a voice that had guided countless patients through their darkest hours. The overhead fluorescence cast harsh shadows across Tyler's face, highlighting the fear etched into every feature. While Jason attached monitors and started an IV line, Dr. Martinez observed the young man before her, not just another patient. Something in his eyes reminded her of herself at 19. The same carefully constructed facade, the same silent plea for understanding without judgment. She had walked this path before, though her journey had been different. Coming out to her traditional Hispanic family had felt impossible until her abuela had simply taken her hands one Sunday afternoon and whispered, "Te veo, mi corazón." I see you, my heart. Not everyone was so fortunate. Tyler's vitals flashed on the screen, confirmation of his dangerously elevated heart rate. We're going to try some vagal maneuvers first, Dr. Martinez explained, her tone gentle yet authoritative. Deep breaths. Tyler, try to exhale slowly against resistance. The commotion at the entrance announced Robert Collins's arrival before he appeared at the curtain, his commanding presence filling the small space. cashmere coat dusted with snow, expression oscillating between concern and impatience. A man unaccustomed to situations beyond his control. "What's happening to my son?" he demanded, eyes darting between the medical personnel and the monitors. His hand came to rest on Tyler's shoulder, protective yet somehow adding to the invisible weight already there. As Dr. Martinez explained the situation, she caught the almost imperceptible flinch from Tyler at his father's touch. Her mind flashed back to her residency years. The whispered comments, the doors closed to advancement, the constant need to prove herself twice over as both a woman and a lesbian in medicine. The memory of her mentor's words echoed, "Your difference isn't your weakness, it's your strength. You see what others miss." Right now, she saw Tyler's eyes avoiding his father's gaze. She saw the rapid breathing that increased whenever Robert spoke. She saw the subtle signs of a deeper distress beneath the medical emergency. "Mr. Collins, we'll need some space to perform these procedures," she said firmly, but with professional courtesy. "The waiting area is just, I'm staying with my son," Robert interrupted, his tone brooking no argument. The room seemed to shrink with his declaration. As they attempted various maneuvers to reset Tyler's heart rhythm, each failure increased the tension. Tyler's murmured apologies between labored breaths twisted something in Dr. Martinez's chest. Apologies not for the medical emergency, but for something much deeper. For being a burden, for being imperfect, for being himself. Sometimes the most vital medical interventions weren't found in textbooks or treatment protocols. Sometimes they began with recognition, seeing the person behind the patient. And Dr. Martinez saw Tyler Collins clearly, a young man whose heart was racing not just from physical causes, but from the exhaustion of outrunning his own truth. "Have you taken anything today, Tyler?" Dr. Martinez asked quietly, her eyes searching his face with compassionate intensity. The question hung in the air, weighted with unspoken understanding. Tyler's gaze darted nervously toward his father before returning to the doctor. His voice emerged as barely a whisper. "Just a therapeutic drink from Mass Wellness Coalition." The name registered immediately in Dr. Martinez's mind, one of several organizations operating in legal gray areas despite Boston's ban on conversion therapy practices. Her expression remained neutral, but her heart sank. These groups marketed their treatments as natural alternatives, wellness protocols, spiritual cleansing, language carefully crafted to circumvent legislation while preying on vulnerability and fear. "It was supposed to help me be normal," Tyler continued, each word seemingly torn from somewhere deep within. "To stop the thoughts, to be who my father wants me to be." Robert Collins straightened, confusion creasing his brow. "What are you talking about? What thoughts?" The monitor beeped steadily, Tyler's heart still racing dangerously fast despite their interventions. Jason Thompson prepared the adenosine, a last resort medication to reset the heart rhythm, his movements efficient yet gentle. Tyler closed his eyes, tears squeezing past his lashes. The memory surfaced unbidden. His father's face transformed by disgust and disappointment 3 months ago. Finding Tyler watching an LGBT documentary on his laptop. The laptop had been swiftly closed, but the unspoken judgment had lingered, thickening the air between them for weeks afterward. Then there were the hunting trips, the football games, the constant reminders of Collins' men and their legacy of unwavering masculinity. "We need to know exactly what was in that drink," Dr. Martinez pressed gently. "These substances can contain stimulants, herbs with unknown effects, even, I'm gay." The words fell into the room like stones into still water, creating ripples that couldn't be stopped. Tyler's admission hung in the air between the beeping monitors and the hushed hospital sounds. His eyes remained closed, unable to face the aftermath of his declaration. Remarkably, as the words left his lips, the monitor registered a slight decrease in his heart rate. The truth, it seemed, was already beginning to heal what deception had damaged. Robert Collins stood frozen, his complexion paling beneath his winter tan. "What did you say?" His voice emerged strangled, almost unrecognizable. I'm gay? Dad? Tyler opened his eyes, meeting his father's gaze directly for perhaps the first time in years. I've always been gay. The drink was supposed to fix me, make me straight. His voice broke on the last word. Dr. Martinez watched the cardiac monitor with professional interest. As Tyler spoke his truth, his heart rate continued its gradual descent toward normal range. The body's wisdom was often more profound than any medical intervention. Living authentically wasn't just a psychological imperative, it was a physiological one. This is ridiculous, Robert hissed, glancing anxiously toward the curtain as if fearing eavesdroppers. You're confused. It's college. These liberal professors filling your head with, it's not confusion, Dr. Collins. Dr. D. Martinez interjected, her tone firm but compassionate. The American Medical Association, the American Psychological Association, and every major medical and mental health organization recognize that sexual orientation is a natural variation of human sexuality. What's actually harmful are attempts to change it. She gestured toward the monitors. These so-called wellness treatments often contain unregulated stimulants that can cause exactly these cardiac symptoms. They're dangerous, physically and psychologically. Robert's expression hardened, decades of beliefs calcifying in real time. I need to speak with my son. Alone. Dr. Martinez exchanged a glance with Tyler, seeking permission. His slight nod granted it, though fear lingered in his eyes. As she and Jason stepped outside the curtain, she heard Robert's controlled voice drop to a harsh whisper. Sometimes, the most vital signs weren't the ones recorded on medical charts, but in the courage to speak one's truth, even when the heart races with fear. The hospital room shrank around Tyler and Robert Collins, the space between father and son simultaneously too vast and too confining. The rhythmic beeping of the heart monitor provided the only soundtrack to their standoff, each beat steadier than before, but still fragile. This isn't happening, Robert muttered, pacing the small perimeter of the treatment bay. His polished loafers clicked against the linoleum, keeping time with Tyler's gradually normalizing heartbeat. Not to my family, not to my son. Tyler watched his father from the hospital bed, years of practiced obedience warring with newfound honesty. The weight that had pressed against his chest for so long wasn't entirely physical. It was built from 1,000 moments of self-erasure, changing pronouns when discussing crushes, forcing himself to look at girls when his eyes naturally drifted to boys, spending hours at the gym, not for health, but to embody the masculinity his father revered. Senator Adams is bringing his daughter to the fundraiser tomorrow, Robert continued, as if Tyler's admission had never occurred. Jennifer, pre-law at Harvard. You should ask her to dinner next week. Dad, Tyler's voice emerged stronger than expected. Did you hear what I said? Robert stopped abruptly, his back to his son. Outside, Boston's early evening darkness was complete, the window reflecting their tableau back at them, father and son, divided by more than just physical space. I heard confusion, rebellion, maybe some misguided cry for attention. Robert turned, his CEO mask firmly in place. Do you have any idea what this would do to our family name? To my position, the company, my investors are traditional people. Tyler, conservative people. I'm not confused, Tyler replied, an unfamiliar steadiness emerging in his voice. I've known since I was 12. I just tried to be what you wanted. Something flickered across Robert's face, a brief crack in the facade. Your grandfather would... I got straight A's for you. Tyler interrupted, words spilling out after years of careful containment. I played football for you even though I hated every minute. I dated Emma for you. I chose business instead of literature for you. His voice cracked. I've done everything to be perfect for you, Dad. Everything except this one thing I can't change. Robert's shoulders stiffened. You haven't tried hard enough. These feelings can be overcome with discipline, with prayer, with proper therapy. That therapy nearly killed me tonight, Tyler countered, gesturing to the medical equipment surrounding him. Robert stepped closer, lowering his voice. "Do you know what happened to my brother? Your Uncle James?" The question caught Tyler off guard. Uncle James was a forbidden topic, a family ghost mentioned only in whispers. "He made the same claims when he was about your age." Robert's voice was tight, controlled despite the emotion underneath. "My father gave him a choice, get help or get out. He chose to leave, ended up in San Francisco with others like him. AIDS took him in '92, alone, no family there for him because he chose that lifestyle over us." The revelation hit Tyler like a physical blow. A great uncle he'd never known, erased from family history for the same truth Tyler had just spoken. "That wasn't a choice, Dad," Tyler whispered. "Neither is this." Robert straightened his coat, expression hardening into resolve. "I won't make a scene here, but I'm giving you the same choice my father gave James. Get help, real help, not this college experimentation phase. Or don't expect my support. No tuition, no apartment, no trust fund. Your choice." The ultimatum landed heavily between them, its implications expanding to fill every corner of the small room. Tyler's future, carefully planned and privileged, balanced on the edge of authenticity. The path of continued deception promised comfort, financial security, and his father's approval. The path of Troy offered only uncertainty. Tyler thought of the drink he'd consumed earlier, the desperate attempt to chemically alter something woven into the very fabric of his being. The racing heart, the fear, the shame. Living that lie had nearly cost him his life tonight. "I can't fix what isn't broken," he said finally. The words both surrender and victory. Robert flinched as if struck. For a fleeting moment, something like recognition crossed his features. Perhaps a memory of his brother, perhaps his own buried truths. But it vanished quickly, replaced by the mask of Colin's family tradition and expectation. "Then we have nothing more to discuss." Robert turned and strode from the room, the curtains swishing closed behind him with quiet finality. Tyler watched him go, each step of his father's departure both devastating and liberating. The monitor beeped steadily now, his heart finding its natural rhythm at last. Sometimes the highest price for authenticity is paid in relationships, but the cost of living a lie is paid in heartbeats cut short by the burden of hidden truths. Dr. Olivia Martinez found Tyler with tears streaming silently down his face, the monitors finally displaying a normal sinus rhythm. The medical crisis had passed, but the emotional aftershocks were just beginning. She sat beside the bed, not speaking, simply present in the way she had once needed someone to be for her. "He's gone," Tyler said finally, his voice hollow. "And I think I am too. From his life." Dr. Martinez nodded, understanding the weight of those words. Sometimes the bravest heartbeats are the ones that continue after great loss. She hesitated before adding, "I was 22 when I told my family. My father didn't speak to me for 8 months." Tyler looked up, surprised by this personal revelation. What changed? Time, education, and my mother's stubborn insistence that family means accepting, not just tolerating. A small smile softened her features. "It's not easy, Tyler, but there's a community waiting to support you. People who've walked this path before." She pulled a card from her pocket, crisp, professional, with the Fenway Center printed across the top. Boston's largest LGBTQ+ support network. They have counselors, legal advisors for students cut off financially, housing resources, and most importantly, people who understand. Tyler took the card, holding it like something precious and fragile. "I don't know if I can do this alone." "You won't be," she assured him. "Ask for Eric Nelson when you go. He's a counselor there, specializes in helping young adults affected by conversion therapy attempts. He's been exactly where you are." A week later, Tyler stood in a modest studio apartment in Allston, a far cry from his luxury Back Bay address, but his own space, rented with his savings from summer jobs. His phone chimed with a text notification. His mother, Elizabeth Collins. Can we meet for coffee tomorrow? I've been reading some books I'd like to discuss. Miss you, sweetheart. The message brought fresh tears. Elizabeth had always been the quieter half of his parents' partnership, her opinions subsumed by Robert's commanding presence. Yet here she was, reaching out, trying to understand. A second message followed. Your father visited James's grave yesterday. Didn't tell me he was going. First time ever. He's struggling, but in his way, maybe that's something. Tyler sat on a second-hand futon, contemplating this ripple of possibility. His father at his estranged brother's grave. Not reconciliation, but perhaps the first crack in decades of rigid certainty. The Collins men didn't change easily, but perhaps change wasn't impossible. Outside, Boston's winter had softened slightly, early March bringing hints of eventual spring. Tyler gathered his jacket and the Fenway Center card. Eric's support group met Saturday afternoons. The Fenway Center was 30 minutes by T. His first group session started in an hour. As he locked his apartment door, Tyler placed his hand over his heart, feeling its strong, steady rhythm beneath his palm. No racing, no pounding, no irregularities. Oh. Just the natural cadence of a heart no longer at war with itself. For the first time since childhood, Tyler Collins's heartbeat wasn't something to fear or control. It was the rhythm of a new life beginning, the percussion of truth finally spoken aloud. Have you ever had to choose between living your truth and meeting others' expectations? How did listening to your own heart change your life's direction? Share your story in the comments and subscribe to Heart Stories for more powerful narratives of courage, identity, and the healing journey toward authentic living.